What's going on, everybody? Jesse here, and welcome back to another episode in our Survival Series project. The other week in our Discord, a friend of the channel, Les23, brought up an interesting question that I had not yet considered, but was a blaringly obvious issue that needed to be resolved. The problem is, not all objects are consumable, meaning that when you use it from the inventory, it should not be consumed or removed from your inventory. This is an obvious problem that I knew would need to be resolved when we got back to coding the use functionality. The other part of this was something like a water bottle that contains a liquid. When you consume the liquid from within, you should be left with an empty water bottle. So how, within the logic of my system, can we handle this problem? After discussions with Les and my channel moderator Weird One, I came up with a solution that not only solves this problem, but goes a step further that will allow us to have multiple levels of an item that can be used without increasing inventory. Let me show you what I mean. Over here, I've got two new water bottle items. They're both identical, the same, but if we go ahead and pick one up, look in our inventory, we now have a water bottle. You can see by the fact that it's blue all the way up that it is a full water bottle. If I select it once, you're going to see up here in the top left-hand corner, you're going to see it says water consumed, and then you're going to see the icon change to indicate the fact that about a quarter of the water bottle was consumed. Select it again. There we go. Half the water bottle's gone. Select it again. 3/4 is gone with only 1/4 remaining. Select it again, and we got water bottle consumed, but now we are left with an empty bottle. By clicking it, we don't have anything in the water bottle. We can't use it, no water consumed. And like with any other inventory item, it can be moved around, dropped into the world. We come out here and pick it up, and again, it's just an empty water bottle. So that's what we're going to do in this one. So once again, thanks to Les23 and Weird One for bringing this to my attention and giving me some ideas of how I could solve this issue. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, we're going to start here in the BP base item, and we're going to change up the use item functionality here real quick, just a little bit. And let's go ahead and disconnect this. Select the use item. We need to add an input here. So let's go input. We're going to call this item. We want to be able to pass in the item that we're going to be working with, and we're going to make this of type F inventory item. So with that, now let's drop in a branch. And what we need to check here is we need to check, is this item consumable? And what I mean by consumable, it's not like what you think with like eating food. Yeah, food's going to be consumable. This is going to be an item that can be deleted from your inventory when it's used. So for example, bread or, any type of most food items, you eat it and it's going to end up, removing from your inventory. It's going to consume some sort of quantity. So, but we need to make sure, is it consumable? So let's drop in a new variable. I'm going to call this be consumable and make sure it's of type boolean. And then let's go ahead and drag this in, and I'm going to plug this into the branch, and I want to go ahead and compile it. I want to set default here. The default for everything is going to be true. So because this is going to be the most common thing is yes, we want to consume an item. So we'll set this as consumable. Remember, this is a BB base item. So everything's going to inherit this functionality, this variable, the way the use item is done here. So we're doing it here because this is the most common thing that we're going to want to do, that most likely we want every single item to do at a bare minimum. Now we can override this and not have any of this functionality in here work if we so choose, but I'm just going to set this up because this is generally how we want it. So I'm going to keep the print string in here just as feedback as we're working through this. So off of the true, if it is consumable, what we need to do is we need to take our item that we're passing in, and from that item we need to actually, let's go ahead and drop in two of them. And this first one, we're going to right click, we're going to split the struct. So from here, we take the owning inventory and we want to consume item. Now we're going to replace this. You'll see in just a second when we jump over to the WBP inventory slot. Right now we're handling consume item there within the item slot. We don't want to do that. We're going to move it into here. I told you guys a while ago we were going to update this functionality, and I just kind of want to do this here. Off of the execution, let's plug it into the consume item. So the item we want to consume is the item that we're passing in here into the use item. And that's pretty much it. So go ahead and plug in the return node here. And I'm just going to duplicate the return node on the false. So if this is not consumable, we just want to return, right? So again, this is the parent. As long as we're calling this parent functionality within our children classes, this will run and this will check, but we can add to this. We can exclude this totally if we totally need to remove this consumable check here, or we want to handle the consumable a little bit different on a particular object class, then we could do that. But generally speaking, for me, this is how this is going to end up being. One other thing we need to add here into the base item parent is I'm going to go ahead and compile it here. Let's add another variable, and I'm going to call this one consumed alternate. So I'll explain what this is going to be in a minute, but let's go ahead and change its type from Boolean to a BP base item, and here we're going to make it a class reference, and its default value, again, compile it. Right now it's going to say none because we made this BP base item an abstract. We can't choose it from this list. So I'm going to open up my content browser and come over here, make sure that BP base item is highlighted, and then come up here and just hit the arrow, and there we go. So we want the default value of this to be BP base item. All right, so go ahead and compile that now. So now all our children have these two variables. All our children have this code that they can overwrite or use as they choose. So let's go ahead and jump over to the WBP inventory slot item real quick. All right, now over in the inventory slot, really this is going to be pretty easy here. You can see the use item that we created here for the on the base item. We now have this input pin of item. So we're handling consume in there. So we're just going to go ahead and delete the consume functionality. Then I'm going to take this item and we're just going to plug it straight into the item input of the use item. So that's all we need to do in the inventory slot. So go ahead and compile that and save it. And let's head on over into the AC inventory component. All right, AC inventory component. So let's go ahead and create a new function. And this function I want to call update item class. All right, so now this is going to be responsible for, as we update the items, we want to change the class of what is in this particular slot. So we need to pass in two parameters. So the first one, we're going to call this one the index. This is going to be the index of the item that we want to update the class of. So this is going to be of type integer, and then add another input, and we will call this one new item class, and this will be of type base item, the BP base item, purple class reference, and there we go. So go ahead and compile that so we have access to its defaults. And with that, so now we just need to take the index and get from the items, we're going to get a reference to the indexed item that we're passing in, and from this reference we're going to pull out, we're going to go set member, plug in the execution, and the member we want to change is the item. That's the only one we want to change is the item. So go ahead and take the new item class, plug it straight into there, and then last thing we want to do is we just want to call the update inventory HUD on ourself. Select that, plug it in, and then we're just going to need a return node. So ultimately what we're doing with this class here is when we pass in an index, which is going to be the index of the item we want to change, we're going to pass in the index here. We're going to get it out of our inventory's item array, and we're going to just change the item. So whatever this was before, we're going to change it to the new item class coming in. All right, so now with that, let's go ahead, and I've got a few new icons that I want to add to this. So I'm going to go ahead and drop those in now, and I'm just going to come over here to the inventory items, icons and thumbnails icons, and here we go. We got the icons here. So now I've got actually 5 of these that I'm going to drop in here. Then once import is done, we've got them here. So now we just need to make some changes to these. So I'm going to select all 5 of these. I'm going to right click and go to asset actions. Let's go bulk edit via property matrix. And what I need to change in here is I just want to come down here to the compression settings, make sure it's set to user interface. I also use, BX7. You can use BX7 as well. The bitmaps settings, I'm going to come down here from texture group, change its texture group to UI, and there we go. That should do it now. So make sure you go ahead and save everything. If we open up our content browser, there we go. You should see that now we have the clear background behind the images. So as you can see here, I've got a full water bottle, an empty water bottle, a 1Q, which is 1/4, so 1/4 full, 2Q for 2/4 or half full, 3Q for 3/4. This is how we're going to end up doing it. So now let's go ahead, and we need to create some new objects so that we can handle these. So let's come over here into, if you're following the same folder structure as I am, it's the inventory, items, and we've got food here. I'm going to create a new one, a new folder, and I'm going to call this folder liquids, because we may end up having more than just one thing we want to drink, and we want to maybe handle those items differently. So liquids, and then within liquids, I'm going to create one more folder, and I'm going to call this water bottle. So I'm going to come back out here to the BP base item, and I'm going to create a child of this, and I'm going to call this BP underscore liquids, and I'll take this and drop this into the liquids folder. Move it there. And then with the BP liquids, I'm going to open this up. This is going to be parent of all our liquids. So I want to create a new variable. I'm going to call this one, I guess we can call it thirst, because most liquids are going to be, I guess, drinking. So we can do thirst amount. I'm going to make this of type integer. This is similar to what we did with the food. We had health amount. So if you've got a thirst bar, right? I'm guessing in my game, I'm going to have a thirst bar anyways, where we drink liquids, and we need to keep our liquid, our water levels up in our body. So this is that thirst amount. Same thing as health, where health replenishes your, health and or stamina. This can do the same thing here. But there it is, thirst amount integer. That's all we need to do for that one. So go ahead and save that, open up your content browser, and now I'm going to create a child of the liquid class, and I'm going to call this BP underscore water bottle, right? And now this is going to be my parent water bottle. So I'm going to take and drag this into the water bottle folder, and then let's go ahead and open this up. So now what are the defaults that I want to do on the water bottle? Let's go ahead and change. I'm going to change it static mesh for now. I'm just going to do something like, I don't know, one of our default shapes. I'm going to choose the capsule. So all of our water bottle images here will default to this, and the interact text is just going to be pickup, display name, water bottle, use action text. Well, we drink from the bottle, so let's go drink. And the thumbnail, I'm just going to choose the default thumbnail for all of them. We're going to end up changing this as we go through. A water bottle, I'm going to do water bottle full. Of course, this might be a good one to do actually water bottle empty. Let's do that one. Water bottle empty icon. Item description, a water bottle that can be used to hold liquids. There we go. Stack size, I'm going to do stack size of 1. I don't want to be able to stack my water bottles. And I'm not going to worry right now about should die and despawn time. Billboard, I'm going to do just like I did with the food. I'm going to give it the bread icon. I do not want this to be consumable. So uncheck consumable. We don't want to remove this from inventory when we use it. And then the consumed alternate is going to default to the BP base item. That is fine. We're going to leave this as the default. We're going to change that for the individual classes. So go ahead and compile it and come back out here now, and let's create, we're going to end up creating 4 children of this bottle right here. 5 children. So I'm just going to right click, add child. I'm going to call this BP underscore water bottle full, duplicate it, empty, duplicate, 1Q, 2Q, 3Q, and that's it. So we've got our additional 5 bottles right here. So now, as you can guess, we got the full, 3/4, half, and the quarter full. So let's go ahead and open each one and make the settings. I'm going to start here with the full, and with the full, we got all our default settings here. So the thumbnail, we're going to change this one to the full icon, and then item description, maybe call this a full bottle of water. Again, stack size is going to remain the same, default of 1, not consumable. Now here, since this is full, our alternate that we want when we consume this. So the consumed alternate would be, we take a single drink of this, we want it to now become 3/4 full. So we've got 4 uses of this water bottle, essentially is what we're doing, right? I broke this down into quarters. You can do it however you want. You can drink out of it twice if you want, 10 times, whatever you want. Just create a new item for it. There's other ways we could do this too. Instead of having the individual items, you could do something like an array of what the consumed alternates are. There's several ways you could do. You can create an enum, for instance, but this is how I'm choosing to do it. I've got an object. It's not going to add that much size to your game. It's not an instantiated object, so it's not like it's going to add any real project overhead when you're running the game. So this is how I'm doing mine here, and I can control each one individually if I so choose. So again, from the full bottle, 1 drink, I want to come down to 3/4, so that's going to be its consumed alternate. Go ahead and save that. So now we can open up the 3/4, and then from the 3/4, again, leave everything default. A water bottle that can be used to hold liquids. I'll just put a water bottle that, actually I'll call this, I'll say a used bottle of drinkable water. Okay, and I'm going to copy this because I'm going to do this for my next couple. So I'll just copy that. And then again, change this down now to the thumbnail. This is the 3/4 bottle. So we need the 3/4 bottle of water. And then its alternate will be the 2/4. So we're going backwards here. Remember, the 2/4 is we're going backwards. Compile it, open up 2/4 now. And in 2/4, I'm going to come here to the thumbnail. Let's go to 2Q for the item description. I'm just going to paste in what we had from the last bottle, and then I'm going to change its consumed alternate down to 1Q. And then let's open up the 1Q. And again here, I'm going to copy and paste in the description, change the texture, or the thumbnail rather, to the 1Q water bottle. Change its consumed alternate. Now we're going to change this down to the empty, because once we drink 1/4, it's going to go to empty. All right, and then save that one. And then lastly, open up your empty bottle. And from here, the default is the empty bottle, and we'll leave this a water bottle that can be used to hold liquids. And I'm going to leave its consumed alternate down to BP base item. So there is no, this is the default. If anything has a BP base item as its consume alternate, it will not have anything to transform into. All right, so hopefully that made a little bit of sense. So let's go ahead and jump into the water bottle parent. All right, and with everything saved, I'm going to come over here to the functions, and in the override, we're going to override the use item. So by doing this, it's going to automatically drop in the parent. We're good with this. I'm not too worried about calling this parent, but we're going to call it. There's nothing in here that I dislike for it to call. We know though, because we just did it, since the water bottle isn't consumable, that this isn't going to do anything anyways. It's going to come in to the parent, see that it's not consumable, and then just jump straight into the code that we add here. But the reason why I'm going to leave this in here is because in the future, if we add anything that needs to be recognized by this function in this particular object, then it will automatically run that code. So I'm just leaving it in here. It's no harm for leaving it in here. So I'm going to drop in a branch, and what we need to check here, I'm going to right click and I'm going to get our consumed alternate, get consumed alternate. And off of this, we're going to check, is it not equal to the BP base item? BP base item, plug that right into the branch right there. So now if this is not the base item, that means we have an alternate that we want to go down to. So I'm going to grab the item that we're passing in here. I'm going to just type in item, then scroll all the way to the bottom and get item. And from here, I'm going to split this apart, split the struct pin, and then from the owning inventory, drag off of here, and let's call that new function that we created just earlier in the video and call it update item class. Plug this into the true, grab the index of the item and plug it into the function. And then the new item that we want to pass in is our consumed alternate. So I'm just going to duplicate this pin right here, plug it into the new item class. And then just so I got some visual feedback, I'm going to add in a print string, and I'm going to say water consumed. Add in a return node, duplicate it, and plug it into the false right there. We don't want to do anything if it's false. If it is equal to BP base item, we don't want to do anything with this water bottle. And that should be it. So now if we compile and save everything and then come back out here into the map, I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to duplicate one of these. I'm going to alt and drag it, duplicate it, and I'm going to change its item type here to be, let's just go water bottle full. Then I'm going to drag two of them. So now I got two of them out here. This one should be water full, and I need to change the quantity here to, by the way, only quantity of 1. Same thing with this one, quantity of 1. And then now if we save everything, hit play, those should be the water bottles. All right, so come over here, we got our capsules. They're a little stretched out because we have that one stretched out, so it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna pick these up, and there we go. We got 2 water bottles, quantity of 1. They didn't stack, so that's good. So now if we click one, there we go, it consumed. It's down to the 3/4 water bottle. And you saw up there in the screen, it said water consumed. Click it again. We're down to a half bottle, water consumed. And again, these are not stackable, but just like everything else, we can move it around our inventory. Click again, we're down to the 1/4, water consumed. Click it again, it's now empty, water consumed. Click it again, and we get nothing. We don't get no water consumed, we don't get anything. The water bottle's there. So down the road, what you could do is you can take this water bottle now, once we incorporate something that we can put in our hand. This is something that can be put in your hand. You can walk up to, I don't know, a pond or a bucket or something and fill up water to put into this bottle. So there we go. So we got a water bottle. We got 4 different phases of the water bottle, 5 different phases technically. quickly. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, thanks to Les23 and Weird One for helping out with this. As always, if you enjoyed the video, go down and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe while you're down there liking it. Hit that notification bell to be notified every time we drop a new video. Got any questions? Leave them down in the comments or come on over to the Discord. Join the conversation over there. Ask your questions. Get involved in the community. Until the next one, peace.